Now, vocabulary items, lexical chunks, make up all of reading. Yeah, there is no reading passage that doesn't have vocabulary. But vocabulary does not exist on its own. Vocabulary mutates and changes into different forms. There are different endings and different tenses and things like that. And students, I think, students of English as a foreign language need to be trained how those changes and mutations work in order to be able to make predictions when they find other words of the same form. This is a simple example, it's ing. So we're looking at exposing the students to multiple ways in which ing affects different words, and then putting them into different contexts in order to help the students to understand them. And context is important. Context is hugely important. I mentioned Japan earlier. I keep talking about Japan. I don't mean to, but I have examples from Japan. And I talked about Japanese students who read manga. Okay? Another habit of Japanese students I've noticed is that when I go to work in the morning, I have to get the train, and it takes about 1 hour to get from my home to the office. And I go to the office at such a time that the students at university and high school are also on the train. Sometimes I see students studying on the train, and if I do that, I kind of look and see which book they have and stuff like that. Yeah. And quite often I see that they have these kind of vocabulary books. So they're quite small, bigger than this, but they're quite small. And on the left-hand side they have the English word, yeah, in black. And then on the right-hand side they have the word in Japanese, and that is in red. Okay? So they have English word, Japanese word in red. And then the books come with a piece of red plastic. I don't know if you've seen these books. Do you have them in Taiwan? I don't know. So they have a piece of red plastic, and when they put the red plastic over the red words, you can't see them, right? Because the red hides the red on the white page. So they have the English word, the Japanese word hidden, and then they just move down, like this. And it's like English, Japanese, yeah? And that's okay, yeah, that's fine. Those books are incredibly successful. They sell millions of copies. So as I work in the book business, I'm quite jealous actually, even though we don't publish things like that. But what those books don't do is train the students about vocabulary in context. The vocabulary is discrete lexical items in isolation. What the students need to do is be exposed to and have practice of using vocabulary in context. Yeah. There is a famous piece of research, probably you've heard of it, that says that students of English as a foreign language need to be exposed to vocabulary about 20 times before they can start to use and internalize it. Have you heard that before?
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah. And some people say it's 30 times and some people say it's 15 times. I don't know what the answer is to that. But what I do know, what I do believe, is that if the exposure to the vocabulary is put in context, so if they've got a new vocabulary word and they're showing it in context, the number of times they need to be exposed to it should go down, in my opinion, because they see it in context. I don't know if I asked a group of teachers this the other day and they didn't actually agree with me, so I'm going to ask you guys. But I learned Japanese as a second language, right? So I went to Japan and learned it. And quite often with difficult words, I can remember where I was and what I was doing and who I was talking to when I learned a specific word. Yeah? I can remember the first time I learned the word for traffic jam in Japanese, jutai. We were in a traffic jam. Yeah? And my friend said, jutai. And I said, what's jutai? And he said, traffic jam. And I said, oh, right. But I never forgot that. Yeah? I remember I was there and I can remember the day. Yeah? It was raining. And, can you do that for English? Can you remember how you learned specific words?
If I hear someone say a certain word, yes, I remember it more better.
Right.
So I think it's quite the same.
Sure.
The same theory as yours.
Yeah. A group of teachers in Taichung the other day, they didn't agree with me at all about that. I was quite upset.
It's probably because they don't have this kind of experience, so they can't relate.
Possibly, yeah, quite possibly. So I think we have to give students quite a bit of training on vocabulary, and things like, you know, closed quizzes, checking to see whether they understand, checking to see whether they can organize and arrange vocabulary into different parts of the text. Now, one thing that we need to do here is, you've got these discrete vocabulary items. Probably what is a good idea on top of this is to train students to get better dictionary skills. Now, probably, I'm making a guess here, please disagree, if you do disagree. Do your students say, what does this word mean? They say, what does, I don't know, let's say, unacceptable. Would your students say, teacher, what does unacceptable mean? Please tell me the Chinese meaning. Do they do that?
All the time.
All the time, right? Right. What is your answer? What do you say?
I'm not dictionary.
Right. So what you're basically saying is, look it up. Yeah? Yeah? That's my answer is, I'm not going to tell you, you look it up. You're a student, you're 18 to 21 years old. You're enrolled in a university, an academic institution. I'm not here to spoon feed you like a child. You don't understand the word? The dictionary is right here. Go look it up. Yeah. I'm kind of strict. Yeah. But that's my... Students need good dictionary skills. Yeah? They need to learn how to take responsibility for their own learning and their own vocabulary acquisition. I know students have problems with motivation, and I know students can be sometimes difficult, but it's their responsibility, to learn for themselves and to use dictionary. And what we do in the books these examples come from is we have a whole section on dictionary skills and how to train the students on being good dictionary users. At Hindley we have a partnership with CoBuild. You know the CoBuild dictionaries? Yeah. Those? From Birmingham University in the UK, Collins, Birmingham University, International Language Database, CoBuild. That is a corpus-based learners dictionary. So the dictionary is designed specifically for people who are learning English. It's not designed for people like me. And we use the content from that dictionary to train students on how to get information.